Hello, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen. How are you feeling? And I do say gentlemen because I have a few gentlemen that is watching this. So welcome, welcome. And then I would love to say welcome to my beautiful Diamond Beauties Forever group, ladies. You are all amazing. And I don't know, my beautiful ladies, that you see, we are almost 700 ladies in the group. So I just want to let you know that you are welcome to invite any beautiful lady to the group and keep on inspiring each other, keep on lifting each other up. Because I do believe when you start lifting others up, you are lifting yourself up. So I am truly amazing today, amazed by this amazing guest. But I just want to let you know, if you do give us a comment, because we are coming live in the group, we're not going to do a shout out today for the Soul of a Diamond. Today is all about Hermine and her beautiful story. Her will tell her story, and she will also be part of the Soul of a Diamond in the magazine coming this month. Oh, I am so excited. So we will show your comment, but we will not shout out to you. So my beautiful Herma, how are you feeling? I know this was like a rush because you are visiting your friend. And when I said, will you please go online? You said, yes, Annette, I will 9 o'clock tonight. But the thing is, I was shocked when I realized your show is, yeah, you've got a 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time show, and you've got a 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time show with the Power Hour. I'm truly sorry I booked both of you on the same day, and I didn't realize until I wrote it on the board. But did you take a deep breath? Are you
Yeah,
ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, wow.
But it's
Can
still
you
a blessing to be here, and it's all your kindness and your caring that causes this. So I can just say thank you. So yeah, what else?
Oh, thank you, my beautiful one. Can you please just introduce yourself and tell us where you're from? And then I would love to give you my surprise. So, part of Soul of a Diamond, you will be part of the TV show now. You're on the TV show, but part of it, it's a gift from me. I gift you with an amazing video that you actually can advertise and show others as well when you want to sell yourself out there. And it will also be on your way. I will be sending it, and you can have it forever and ever. And then part of your story will go into the Diamond Moment magazine. And then your chapter of your book, if you decide, it will go into a compilation of a book called Soul of a Diamond. So please just introduce, and then I am going to play you my gift I've made with all my love for you.
Thank you. So my name is Herma De Villiers. I live in Pretoria in South Africa. I'm 63 years old, young. They say age is between your ears, so I'm not old at all. Um, and yes, I've just recently, 2 years ago, got married again, so I'm very happy. And yeah, to see how my life has played out for 63 years. You can look back and then take the good parts and work through the bad parts and sit here as a more complete person. That's all I
Wow.
can say at this point.
Well, I can just tell you what a privilege. One of the photographs on Facebook was the one that you got the day that you got married, and you had flowers on your head, and you were laughing like out of your stomach. This is the most beautiful photograph of what I saw, and I've used it in your video. Are you ready for your video, my beautiful one?
Well, if you say so, I have to be.
Here we go.
My name is Herma De Villiers. I live in Pretoria in Fairy Glen in South Africa. I am of retirement age. So I am a wellness advocate. I'm an adventurer. I'm a positive talker, positive thinker. I'm a life coach. So I love serving people and looking after people and helping people to become healthier in their lifestyle, to increase their wellness and to cope with life in general, because what we think is what we are, who we think is who we are, and all those things help to keep us healthy and increase our wellness.
Did you
Thank you.
love your video?
Yes, absolutely. It's beautiful.
And did you see it? The video was produced by Mwah Productions. That's me.
Mwah.
So, oh, mwah. So you know now my mwah stands for moments with authentic hearts. For me,
Mm.
what an honor to have you. When I met you the first day, I was blown away by your amazingness, your authenticness, your inspiration. And I cannot wait for everybody, not only the viewers, the Diamond Beauties, but all the viewers out there on the platform, E360 TV, to experience your magnificence. So, my beautiful Herma, can you please tell us your story? And you can start wherever you want to start.
Yeah, so we'll start from the start, and then yeah, the healing happened as well in the last 2 or 3 years. Most of the healing happened, but I started as the eldest of three daughters, and I was born as a honeymoon baby. So my mom didn't exactly want me, and she didn't exactly expect me. And when I was born, I wasn't exactly the right age or right sex. So there was a lot of rejection right from the start in the womb already because I wasn't wanted. It's amazing how babies in the womb already know if they are wanted in the world or if they don't want be wanted in the world. But looking back at that, when I did kinesiology, my body said that she actually wanted to abort me. She was busy with juices to actually work up to get me out of there. Now, what's so amazing? We're all a word in God's poet, in his poem. And my word in God's poem is power plug. Kragprop in Afrikaans, it's a power plug. So I must have been a little power plug in a womb already, sitting there at the top and say, sorry, I'm not going out yet. It's not my time. I'll come out when I want to, please. And here I am, 63 years later, sitting with that revelation and thinking, the Lord had a plan with me those years already, when it was my time to come out in the world and shine his light. So yes, he's just repaired my light so that it gets brighter and brighter and brighter as life goes on. So I was a very sweet little girl. I didn't complain. So my touch never developed. So she just turned me up in a little blanket and parked me because I wasn't complaining. And there, a limiting belief entered my mind to say, she's not going to love me. I'll have to deserve it. So for 18 years, I deserved her love by doing everything to the max, to my best, to see if she's going to love me because I do it so well. So I was the head girl in primary school. I was the head girl in high school. I played tennis. I did everything you can think of to try and earn brownie points with my mom so that she could love me. And through my whole life, basically, I was a people pleaser because of that. So when I married my first husband, when I was 25, we were married for 15 years before we had a baby. So those years were lovely because it was only the two of us. I really loved him, so I did everything without complaining. Although, in retrospect, he already saw me as his property, sort of claiming me as just mine. Nobody else can have any say on you or who you are. So when Sebastian arrived 2 months before I turned 40, so I'm an old mother. My ex's personality started creeping out. because for 15 years he got all the attention, all the care, all the whatever there was. And now with a baby arriving, there was competition. He couldn't get all the attention. It was completely impossible not to not to do it. So as time progressed, I think when Sebastian was 3 years old, I already felt like a single mother, but I was married. That was the feeling I got. And what is so amazing is with kinesiology, in that phase of my life, I had a little miniature dachshund puppy, with registered with the Kusa papers. I could see who her great grandmother and great grandfather was. So she was so well behaved and so obedient. I've never seen that in a dog. But she was my scapegoat to cuddle and to give love. Before Sebastian was born, she was sort of my cuddle little soft toy to play with. Yeah. And I was at that stage, we were living in Botswana, and I was a music teacher at a private school. It was such fun because I had a mobile keyboard, and then I would go from classroom to classroom and do the half an hour lesson with music. And we'd do all these hip songs. It was not boring little bar, bar, black sheep. No, nothing of that. We had exciting little songs that I got. And then I had a choir that I worked with, and I had a group of kids that I taught to play the recorder. So I was quite busy to have, towards the end of the year, a concert with all these students. And while I was teaching, this little puppy dog was there, and all the kids played with her. She was the most social little thing, and so really a lovely little dog. So then my husband that time got a problem with, he was working for a British architect, and he did a private job. And it was one email, I think, that was sent to the office, and the other woman that was in the office didn't like Chris at all. And she got hold of the email, and he actually had to resign from that company because of this private job that he did. It was so stupid. In any case, we had to move then to Gaborone from Francistown, which is Francistown was quite north in Botswana. It was very close to the Bulawayo, to the Zimbabwe border. So I had a friend, and the two of us used to go across the border to Bulawayo to go and get recorder to play the flute lessons. So we got flute lessons in Bulawayo. So in that time, I had all these pregnancy tests done to fall pregnant because we couldn't fall pregnant. And then they put me on fertility drugs, and I picked up weight. I felt like a baby crocodile in my body. You can't believe it. So my sister lived in Tapazimbi at that point, and I went to visit her, and she was on a doctor's diet, and she lost 20 kilograms. I said, please give me that diet. I need to lose weight. She said, no, you can't take my diet. You must go to him and find out what he has for you. Now, from Francistown to Parktown in Johannesburg was 700 kilometers. For me, that was a day's travel to get to this Dr. Cohen at his rooms. When I walked into the door, I saw on the door was Dr. R. Cohen, infertility specialist, and I'm there for a diet. I said, I said, please, to meet you, doctor, I'd like to have a baby, please. He said, you eat the food I give you, you'll have your baby. And that's when Sebastian came to light. Amazing. So yeah, my son is 3 now, turning 24 in September. So he's just been a blessing, really a blessing. So when he was 3, 4, I think he was 5 years old, then Chris got a job offer in East London. It's on the what coast of ours? Our north east coast. Yeah, that's the west coast. It must be the east coast. Yeah, up there.
Yeah.
So I thought, thank you, Lord. So now we'll be a family. Ah, my goodness gracious. When we got to East London, He was so busy in this architect's office that he had to manage. He went to bed with Sebastian at 8 o'clock, and then he'd get up at 4 o'clock in the mornings and go to the office, because then the office was quiet, no phone calls, no interruptions. He could finish all the work that he had to finish before the day started. So we
Wow.
were living past one another once again. No, more of the same. So there in East London, I was part of an interdenominational women's Bible study group. And in that Bible study group, I got to know the Holy Spirit, and I got to a point where I said, okay, I'll be obedient, Lord. I will have myself baptized. And I was baptized on a pastor or on the Friday of Easter, the Easter Friday, in the Nahoon River. It was very special. It was really very
Wow.
special. The river goes about 800 meters further. The river goes out into the sea. So
Wow.
it was really special. And then Sebastian was 6 years old, and he came to me and he said, Mom, can I also be baptized, please? I said, yeah, sure. If you want to do it, then it's your privilege to have it done. So he was also baptized as a 6-year-old little boyki. He was baptized. So sweet. But yes, in any case, life in East London was good. Well, not in terms of my marital relationship, but in terms of my son and entertaining him and taking him to the beaches. There were quite a lot of variety in the beach life in East London. He could play on the rocks or in the sand or in the tidal pools, fish around in the tidal pools. So for him, it was a very exciting time. And then when he had to go to school, we were in two minds, because the whole of East London was English, or were English, and we're Afrikaans speaking. And I thought, goodness, is he going to understand English if he goes to an English school? And then people said, no, don't do that. Take him to an English school, no problem, and he will immediately pick up the language and he will understand you at home. Don't worry about that. And I've actually brought up a bilingual Englishman, because his life is
Wow.
English. We speak
Wow.
Afrikaans at home, and that's basically the only place where he speaks Afrikaans. For the rest of the time, his life is in English, basically.
Wow.
Yeah, interesting. So he was just in grade one in the first term when Chris, my husband then, decided that he must see a friend of his, and he can't find the friend. He doesn't know where this friend is. And at that point, all the architects received registration numbers. So he could go into the Institute of Architects webpage and see, oh, there is his registration number, and he's at an architect in Pretoria. Oh, okay, and we sit in East London. That's also about 800 kilometers to travel from East London to Pretoria. It's far.
Wow.
This time around, we were in a short-based Land Rover, and we had a busy 6-year-old little boykie after to entertain. It was a long way, just for a weekend. Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. Say that again.
Yeah.
So we arrive at the architectural firm, and Sebastian and I sit in the reception, and Chris goes into the boardroom, and I see there goes his friend Duart, goes into the boardroom, and lo and behold, there goes another guy, and another guy, and another guy. In the end, there were about 7 people in the boardroom, and immediately, it's as if I could make the deduction. They are promoting the architectural firm to Chris now to offer him a job. Dear Lord, am I moving to Pretoria again? And yes, that's what happened. So I
Wow.
was just settling in East London. I was just going to run the tuck shop at the primary school, just starting to make a plan to earn my own little bicky income. And there, poof, nothing about that. We are moving to Pretoria. So
Wow.
it was sort of a full circle that we started in Pretoria. We went to Cape Town, where he studied for 4 years. And then we moved up to Botswana. So we were gone for 15 years, and the 2 years in East London, and then full circle back to Pretoria again. Amazing. So then Sebastian went to the Hatfield Christian School. So it was still English. He basically finished his school years in English. I just had one hiccup of a year in grade 9, I think. but we'll get there. So, um, yeah, we bought a house just under UNISA, so it was a very nice setting there in Makkelneuk in Pretoria. It's the UNISA is that the university that you can study a distance learning. So they had a very good reputation at that point. I don't think the reputation is the same anymore, but at that point, our house was in sort of the street. Just if at the end of the street, you had to turn left, and then you entered the gate to the UNISA campus and to the ZK Matthews Hall, where all the concerts happened, and they have all their competitions and stuff in that ZK Matthews Hall. So with Sebastian being six years old, I was the Minister of Entertainment. So I either had friends with me or he was with friends. It was forever an arrangement. Where is he? Where is he going? Who's coming here? Who's sleeping over? Who's where?
Oh, it's fine.
Yes, sir, yeah. Being the only son, it's sad that I couldn't have another baby, but it probably wasn't the right place for another baby to happen. But he
Yes.
is really a social boy, and he loves his friends, and he still has friends at the moment that came from primary school. They still
Wow.
have contact, and they still are friends. It's amazing. But yes, the boykies had such fun because we could just walk around the corner, and then we're at the UNISA's main gate, and they could be on their skateboards and their rollerblades, and it was just carefree child play that could happen there. If you go there now, it's locked. Jing, you can't get in there with permission only. It's open. In fact, I don't think they use that gate at all anymore. You drive through another entrance to go and park your car at a different place and walk into the hall. So, yes, those were good years. And then when Sebastian turned 11, I think, I just came to a point where I said, Lord, you didn't make me a floor mat
Matt.
for everyone to walk on and for everyone to tremble on. I I need to sort myself out. What's happening here? So I booked a 5-day retreat on a farm where the farmer built 4 cottages. I knew Celeste, the daughter. She was at church with me, and I went there 5 days. For the first 3 days, I had a migraine that I could not see through my eyes. I could not hear any noise. I could do nothing. I was lying on that bed like a corpse, just breathing. I had no energy for anything to happen. And when Celeste came that weekend to visit her parents and she walked through the door and she cursed that migraine, immediately I heard the message, your son is not worth your marriage. And then I knew I had to go. I just knew I had to go. So I packed Pretoria. I said, Lord, please, may my emotions be parked. I don't want to cry. I don't want to be pathetic. I just want to state the case when I get home. And he was gracious enough that that was the case. So
Wow.
I could sit. We had a lovely big kitchen. So the dining room table was in the kitchen. So you sit at the table and chat, and I cook, and it was a nice setup for having your suppers at evening. Everyone's together and everything happens there. So I sat Chris on the one end of the round table and Sebastian this side, and I was sort of in the middle. And I don't know where I got this from, but I just said, I'm moving out for Sebastian, you're 11 years old. I'm moving out for 11 weeks. The logic, I don't know what's the logic there. But I just said, I'm moving out for 11 weeks. Chris, you are going to try your best to build up a relationship with your son because you haven't got one. You don't know him. And I'm just going to move out for 11 weeks so that you can get to know one another.
Wow.
So I go to the
Wow.
bed. Man, yeah, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. I just knew I had to buy. So I packed a bag full of clothes. My son was on the bed crying. He couldn't understand this. And I tried my best. I don't know if you can get through to a child in that condition for him to hear any message in his upset and in his tears. But I just told him, please, this is not your fault. This is between your mom and your dad. It's not you. I don't know if he heard that. I don't know. I don't think so. But in any case, I then left and I found the first friend that I could think of. Hello, I'm leaving, Chris. Can I come and stay a few days, please? Yeah, sure. Okay, I'm getting the room ready for you. So, for a period of 9 months, a full pregnancy, I
Wow.
stayed with different friends of mine that could put me up and look after me in that time. I remember the last period I spent with a friend that lived on a small holding. Um, she's a she's a really a person that has no routine. Her word in God's poem is song. So she prophetically writes songs that God gives her with messages. But she
Wow.
had two sons, and at that point, I think um, her, her one son was friends with Sebastian, so he was 3 years older than Sebastian, and the other son was, I think, another 4 or 5 years older than Sebastian. So the two sons lived with her in a cottage there on the small holding. So, okay, Dinty, it's my time to stay with you. Yeah, sure, come. We put a single bed in her walk-in cupboard, in her boudoir, she says. I slept in her boudoir. There were all our clothes were hanging against the opposite wall. It was the size of a single bed that could fit from wall to wall, and I fit there. So she had a curtain that closed her bedroom from her cupboard, and that was my space there to sleep in the bed there. So I just put my earphones on, not to hear what. My earphones. So she took pictures of me with my earphones on and lying under the blanket sleeping. But that was also a very good time for our friendship to develop because I could help her to sort of bring order in her household. You
Wow.
know, every afternoon to prepare food was a crisis because then suddenly she realizes, oh bugger, the three of us are hungry. I have not thought of food all day. Now suddenly she must run around and get all the ingredients and start putting something together. So I taught her to try and do shopping for a week. So at
Yes.
least there's things in your cupboards that you can play with and make a plan to make a meal quickly, as opposed to now running to the shop and go and get 3 or 4 ingredients and try and cook up something from that. And also her washing. I don't know what she. I I said, please buy a 5 kilogram size pack of soap for your washing. I don't know what she did because it was always a crisis to find soap for the washing. So, yeah, that was my time. And in that time, I got a job. So, as soon as I got a job, I could start earning money. I could start paying rent and I could sort of move into my own place and my son could come and live with me. Oh, man, that was a joyous day. That was really a joyous day. Because it's sad to say that Chris is a narcissist, and a narcissist personality is a personality fault. It's not very. The person who is a narcissist and wants to get out of it. Oh my goodness gracious! It's very hard work, and it's really takes really serious commitment to let go of that selfish streak that sits in your fiber. Yeah. So he lived with me, and then I sort of started looking after him. And in that time, Chris got a job in India for a year, an architectural job with a firm there. And I went back to our house to go and fetch something, and I accidentally saw the sheet of paper that showed what he was going to earn for that year's contract, what he was going to earn per month. So I made an appointment with him. I sat him at the table and I said, I saw what you are going to earn in India. I'm not greedy. I can take you to the maintenance court, and the maintenance court will probably grant Sebastian and me a third or a half of your income to live from. I'm not greedy. I don't want that. Please give me a decent allowance and we can settle at that. So he paid me a decent allowance. So I had enough money then to actually make make a decent living. So I could afford decent housing. And yes, it was actually a good life. So Sebastian was in the primary school then, and I attended all his sports games, and I was really a hands-on mom, and I tried to be really a good mom for him, not an absent mom.
Wow.
And you see my white hair, hey? You see, I was white very early in my life. So when Sebastian was in grade 3 or grade 4, he said, "Mom, would you mind dyeing your hair red? The children think you're my grandmother."
Oh, shame, oh, shame. My beautiful Herma, can you believe it? We are halfway. Can you believe your story is halfway? And when I told you, you're going to be here by yourself, you said, Tani, and I said to you, you are going to tell your story and it's going to go like this. So I would love to play our beautiful sponsor, Natalie's video, and then I would love you to continue. We will be
Okay.
running up to about 50. If you go on top, you will see this. We are live. It will be 50 minutes. Then we will close off. So remember to bring us to your beautiful end of your story, because
Okay.
when you got married again. But let me quickly play the video.
All right.
And here we go. It's our beautiful Natalie's video. She is sponsoring our show today. Here we go.
Ah, wonderful.
Hi there. My name is Natalie McQueen. I'm the founder of Gifts of Legacy. I am a book publisher and a legacy designer. I am thrilled to introduce my talking journal. This unique journal features recorded messages from 100 trailblazing contributors that we call our masters and mavens. Imagine a journal that you can hold in your hands and get daily prompts of inspiration from these mentor experts. I invite you to be one of our masters and mavens in our first edition on gratitude for $49. This is a low-cost, high-impact alternative to traditional publishing. I cannot wait to hear your inspirational message.
So, Natalie also bestowed on the Diamond Beauties and the Tanzanite Heroes the ability to be one of those first 100 maidens. And I cannot remember what she was calling I have listened to her video so many times, but for us to be able to do the talking journal, and she is going to extend it a little bit. So I think before the end of January, all of us that wants to be in the book and the talking journal will be able to do so. So my beautiful Herma, are you ready to continue?
Yes, I am.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for giving us your story. Thank you
No
for
problem.
giving us your heart.
No problem. Yes, so Sebastian finished his primary school at Hatfield Christian School, and he got to grade 8. And towards the end of grade 8, he said, "Mom, there are not enough kids here to play cricket or to play soccer. So can I get to a high school where there's more children?" At that point, I don't know what got into me, but I thought, okay, let's give you a year of Afrikaans schooling to see if you aren't a Boersien, a real boer, as they say. So I got him admitted at an Afrikaans school, and they said that they will have grace with the English boy because all his terminology was in English. Oh my goodness, I think they didn't know how to give grace. So the science teacher wanted the periodic table in Afrikaans. He gave it to in perfect English, and he got 0. I thought, okay, that's no grace. And then the Afrikaans teacher called him names for a whole term. And every day we forgave her and thought, what would is as the teacher got a sore somebody, a sore somewhere, as she got a trauma that she hasn't resolved, to call you a name and really. So at this during the second term, I thought, no, this can't go carry on any longer. So I phoned, I tried to speak to the headmaster, couldn't. I got the head of the Afrikaans language to speak to him. And then he said, he can't believe this is his teacher that calls this child names. He can't believe it of her. So the next morning she phoned me and I said, dear teacher, do you realize that you work with tender teenagers that are so susceptible to bad, negative information that come from the teachers? You have a responsibility in life to speak life into those children and to make them gain positive information about themselves, to just realize who they are and just know that they've got potential to become very nice adult people. You can't call them names. What must my son think? No, she's very sorry. She really apologizes. I said, we've forgiven you for a term and a half for calling him those names, but we can't do that anymore. So I've actually decided to take him out at the end of the term because of you. So may you know that you have a special role to play at school and don't take it cheaply. Oh, I was really upset with her. So in any case, I took him out half year. And then I put him in a homeschool setup. That was a very interesting setup. It was a woman who set up a homeschool for children that got rejected from main schools. And they got together around a table, but they were doing homeschooling. So she got different teachers to come and help them to work through the subjects that they were. So they had a school roster like the normal schools, but they would sit at the table and do their home studying work. Where they have a problem, we could assist. So he did that for 6 months. And then he could grow his hair. There was no school wear. It was actually a lovely time for him to just sort of get rid of all that trauma that was built up in the first six months of the year. But in that time, I applied to Boys High so that he can go to a proper English school where there's enough boys to play soccer and cricket. And when they said they could accept him in term 3, I said, oh no, this is not good for him to go back so soon. I would love to have it at the end of the year. But going to grade 10 then, they said that they can't guarantee it because those years are full. Those children just go from one year to the next year. There's not necessarily an opening that happens. So come the end of the year, the new year starts, Sebastian has no school to go to. Boys High can't accommodate him at the beginning of the year. So I contact St. Albans College. Now, it's a very expensive college. It's one of the most expensive ones in the country. And they are prepared to have an interview with him. Thank you, Lord. So we go there and they say, no, you can really attend. Yeah, no, you're a lovely boy. We like you. You're welcome to come to grade 10 with us. And in that time, I turned 55. He was 15. Amazing. And I could get a part of my pension. So that part that paid out, I could pay that non-refundable huge deposit that the school required for each one that enters. And it was a bit smaller from grade 8 to grade 10. So I paid at least 15,000 Rand less than what the grade 8 non-refundable deposit is that parents have to pay. And what's also amazing is that it's a boys' school. And their motto is that a hungry boy cannot hear. So he got a cooked lunch every afternoon at 12 o'clock.
Wow.
I never picked up a hungry boy. That was so lovely. So what happened in grade 10 is that they had I can't remember what they called it, but it was a period of 6 weeks they had to trek up in the mountains. They each got a bicycle and they had to pack a backpack, and they had a route that was planned out for them, and we could write them letters and they could write us letters, and the letters were delivered to the school security gate every second or every third day. I could get a letter back. So I can write a letter today, and then the day after tomorrow, I can get a letter, or the day after that, I can get a letter back. So it's so amazing that he could actually go to grade 10 and walk into this grade 10 year that's for St. Albans. It's a make or break year, because that is your year where you turn 16. So he walked into that trek, and it was difficult for him. It wasn't easy. He had very bad spots. We tried to prepare him to put ointment on his feet beforehand so that he wouldn't develop blisters, but he laughed it off. He didn't listen to us. So when he developed those huge blisters, I tried to put baby powder in the letter in a little plastic bag that I tried to close in the envelope of the letter so that you can just have a little bit of powder that you can put on blisters in his. Oh, he had terrible blisters. So the letters that I came back, he was so sorry that he didn't listen and didn't prepare his feet. Oh, shame. But in any case, that was an excellent time for him to get to know himself better. Because during that trek, they had the boys spend 24 hours on their own, not seeing one soul. He said, "Mom, I landed at a fence and I had a cow as company." So he spoke to the cow. He and the cow had a conversation. So he really, in his life, in retrospect, it was a good time. But while he was doing it, it was not nice. In any case, so that was grade 10. And then, he finished his matric at St. Albans. It was a very nice college. I was really blessed in having a trust fund for the education of the Burgess, my maiden surname, Burgess, and just the sons qualified, not the daughters. So my father had 3 daughters, so none of his children qualified for the trust, but our 3 daughters, all our sons qualified to get paid from the trust because we were Burgesses. But they won't be able to carry on with the trust because their surnames are different. And then the trust actually ontbind. So it finished up on the 18th of July last year. It sort of, I think it was run by the Karel Burgess's will. That was 50 years ago, that he probably stated in his will, after 50 years, my trust will come to an end and it will be paid out to the beneficiaries. So now we don't exactly know who the beneficiaries are, but that's the process of what's happening now. They are sorting out the beneficiaries. But I was so blessed with that because the trust started paying from his preparation year before grade 1. So from grade R in the primary school, they paid his school fees, his school clothes, his sport fees, his sport clothes. I just basically gave him food and bought his civvies. The rest was paid by the trust. That was such a generational blessing that I was part of. I could really, I'm still very thankful for what I was blessed with in that time. So he was able to go to the Open Window Private University, and he graduated there. He did a degree in visual communication. Right. So my story then started where I did a life coach course. And actually, I did that course to discover more of myself. It was so interesting for me to have 5 sessions with a life coach. So this coach was such a phenomenal man that had the ability to ask you questions that you've never considered. He had the nick to do that. So when he asked me, "Do you have expectations for Sebastian's life?" I said, "Chris, what's the questions that all parents have expectations for their children?" He said, "It's not your place to have an expectation. You are blocking God to do what He needs to do with that child, and your expectations are in the way. It puts a weight in the spirit." I said, "Oh, I didn't know that."
Wow.
So I went home that afternoon. I took Sebastian and I put him on the chair and I said, "Excuse me, you are the captain of your ship. I am getting off. I'm not on your ship anymore. I am on the side, on the pier, and I will love you unconditionally for the rest of your life. but I'm not interfering in your life anymore. You can call on me anytime. I'm there for you. But I'm not doing anything for you anymore. You are on your own now. You do your life. Sanet, I'm not lying to you. I could see the next morning as if he was lighter. If something lifted, if he carried something and he didn't know what it was and it fell off. And it actually deepened our friendship with one another. Because of that, I've set him free. I don't have any expectations. He's set free to do what he has to do. He has to make his own faults. He has to work through them. I will support him with anything he does.
Wow.
And another thing that also deepened our friendship is that when he had his grade 11 mothers and son evening at school, the headmaster of the house that he was, De Beers house, he said, your mother is the only woman in your life that gave life to you and that will love you unconditionally. It doesn't matter what you turn out to be. And each son had to stand up and bring a eulogy or whatever you call it to his mother. And when Sebastian stood up and started talking, and he said, Mom, I love you dearly for the time that you were available and you stood up for Dad who was not available. And I thought, really? Do you see me like that? I thought I was the pig in the story because I walked and I left him. And really, to just know that he really appreciated my time and what I invested in him was such a freeing thought to think he actually loves me. I'm not the pig in the sty. So that was also another aspect that our friendship deepened. So then my life coach course gave me that realization. And Koos always said, Herma, you are one in a million. If you discuss something and you decide it, when you've decided it, it changes. I said, yes. Why must it hang on? Why must I go and consider it for a week? If I decided that's how it is, then it is how it is. He could never understand that. I don't know how many people sort of take long to make a decision. So, yeah. And then came COVID, big schlep. And then Chris Koch phoned and said, sorry, your allowance is now 0. So that caused me to move into a small accommodation. I'm in a bachelor sort of setup. And I met interesting new friends, and it worked out that I got to a kinesiologist or a body talk practitioner. And I started cleaning my temple. If the word of God says you are the temple of God, I'm still cleaning my temple. And that's where I sorted out all my trauma so that I can become a whole person, so that there's no trauma hiding in my temple that causes difficulties or upset other people because of that. And in that time, I tried to have a boyfriend or looked at guys on the internet. Oh, for heaven's sake. I just got to a point where, then you go onto WhatsApp and you start communicating, and then they have their forever love. And then 3 weeks later, oh, big calamity. They need $10,000 or they need $15,000 to get out of this calamity. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about the trouble. Blocked. Go away. So I got to the point where I said, Lord, just please give me a godly man. I'm not looking for a man anymore. And then in COVID, he sends me a man. Now, I didn't think anything about this man in the beginning. He saw me, and then he thought, is she married or not? He didn't know. And then he saw me again because we have a communal friend that we sort of went to occasions with. And I think we sat opposite one another when we had lunch there. It was a braai. And we talked, and then he realized, oh, she's not married. Let's go. And then he parked that. And then he told our friend, he wants to go on holiday in Botswana. He needs information about Kasane, that's north in Botswana, a northern place in Botswana. And then I sent him the information, and then we started a WhatsApp conversation, and then we started seeing one another, and then we built our friendship, and whoppa, there we get married. So yes,
Wow.
at this point, I am very happily married. I am seeing my body talk practitioner again next week. So life is good. Life is good.
Wow.
I am a shuttle driver for old people. So I help old people that don't have cars anymore to go and do shopping or to the doctor or to the bank or wherever. And yeah, life is good.
And can you quickly just tell us, because our time is almost up, but can you quickly tell us about your beautiful oils that you are bestowing on other people? So to tell them about the different oils, and please quickly tell us about it. But you've got 1 minute, please.
Okay, well, doTERRA oils are pure and clean. And they are the only oils that come from plants that grow where doTERRA goes and finds out where they grow naturally so that there's no stress in the plants. So they distill the plant oils and they
I'm not sure if it's on my side or your side. Let me just see. Let me see. My internet is here. So my beautiful ones, I think maybe it's in Herma's place. So let me just quickly unmute, take her off screen. And then I want to say, wow, 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 wow. I will check her if she's coming back. But my beautiful Herma, your story is beautiful. I love it. I love it. I know you took a while with the child, but your little Sebastian, but he was so important in your life. So I would love to play a beautiful Dr. Alexandra. You have read my beautiful song I have written for the show. So if you guys can give me 1 second, I can quickly play a little snippet for us.
Moments of moving from here to there between the star and the moon's soft glare capture a glimpse of light so rare, radiant and shining, our hearts declare for the world to see in love's grand affair. Moments of our lives that are filled with laughter keep us going, hearts thrilled, capture the essence of who we are in the spirit of a child like a shooting star. Moments to share our true stories so bright, not only for the world to heal, take flight, but to remind us how amazing we are. Forever moving forward, a radiant star to create magic near and far. In the radiance of each heart's soft glow, we find the strength to carry on and grow. Shining bright, our love doth show in every moment, from dusk till dawn's soft flow. Radiant hearts, we shine so bright in the diamond moments of love and light. Together we rise, our spirits take flight in the beauty of each day and every night. With courage in our souls we stand tall, kindness in our hearts we heed the call to unity. We cherish one and all, and the radiant heart will never fall. So let us
Oh, amazing, amazing. I want to say thank you so much for all the beautiful comments that you have given us, my beautiful diamond beauties. I really appreciate it. I do have another one to say thank you for sharing your story. Beautiful angel said, I love the story. Oh my gosh. And here is Herma back. Just give me 1 second. Let me bring her in. Hello, Herma. I
sorry
just
about
reading.
that. Yeah, we take dips here in South Africa with load shedding, so it makes a dip. And sorry about that.
It's okay. I have a beautiful angel said, I love your story. Oh my gosh. Thank you for sharing your story.
It's only a
Love
pleasure.
it. And then Angel said, you are so beautiful, honey. Oh, wow.
Thank you, Angel.
Amazing. So, my beautiful Herma, we've got less than 1 minute. Can you please give us your golden nugget?
A grateful heart is the soil where miracles happen.
Wow, I love it. I love it. And I just want to say, you will please, Herma's story will also be partly, I will do an amazing article for you in the Diamond Moment magazine. And this magazine will come out the first week in February, and that will be our January issue. So I am truly excited for you to be here. So our time is up. You can
Thank
stay on the line. I just want to say, everybody, please have a beautiful day. Look after yourself. Smile often. And
Absolutely.
keep on dancing. Mwah. Bye, everyone.